We are trying to grow the Alabama Football Report, and the best way for that to happen is for you guys to share the video. That way your friends who are Alabama football fans get to see it. They can click in, watch the video, see that they like what we're doing. So help us grow so we can do even more videos for you guys this season by sharing today's video right now. With the Alabama football season just days away and the Crimson Tide not releasing a depth chart because of distractions or whatever, according to Nick Saban, we're going to do our damnedest to break down what we think the depth chart looks like, knowing things can and certainly will change as the games get played and we realize what Alabama actually wants to do on offense or on defense. One important injury note, by the way, Devonta Smith has been out with a foot injury. Do keep that in mind when we look at the safety room. There's an asterisk there. Ty Jones-Bell is going to medically redshirt in 2023, so he won't be on the depth chart there either because he's just not going to play at all. We haven't put every single player on our depth charts either. You know, we're not putting walk-ons on there and have trimmed up some of the extra players where required. We begin where else but at quarterback. The big question for the Crimson Tide. And look, it's going to be labeled QB 1, 2, and 3. I would say it's QB 1 or QB 2 or QB 3. I would not be that surprised if Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, and Tyler Buchner all get snaps in the opening game against Middle Tennessee State. I'm going to guess, first snap, Jalen Milroe is out there at center. I think we'll definitely see some Ty Simpson, and then we'll have to wait and figure out what ends up happening with Tyler Buchner in terms of does he rotate in or not. I don't think this battle is over, and I don't think it's going to be over, until after the Texas game at minimum. If for example, one guy plays great against Texas, he's probably your guy going forward. If they all struggle, it's a possibility. Maybe it extends a few more weeks there. When it's all said and done, who do you want to start at quarterback? The big question right now around the Alabama football team. Get those predictions, or I should say answers, in for me at the pinned comment of today's show. If the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. To the running back room, and this does feature some changes, by the way. Jace McClellan is RB1. Roydell Williams is RB2. We'll wait and see how things look for Jam Miller versus Justice Hayes. I am of the belief that you're going to see a lot of pieces get involved here on this side of the football, that you're going to have a heavy workload in the running back room. It's not just going to be only Jason McClellan, although Roydell Williams got some run with some of the starters there. You will see some Justice Haynes. It's a deep group in Alabama, for Alabama in the backfield, with the options to run the ball a lot. I was talking to producer Chris before the show. He and I joked, Bama might run the ball 50 times against Middle Tennessee State. Now, maybe they throw it more to get the quarterback some run, but they're going to run the ball a lot this year. So who leads the Crimson Tide in rushing yards this season? 2 for Jace McClellan, 26 for Jam Miller, 5 for Roydell Williams, or 22 for Justice Haynes. Plenty of routes you can go, but do vote for me in the comments section. The wide receiver room, meanwhile, is also going to feature, I think, a lot of rotation. Jermaine Burton, Ja'Cory Brooks, Isaiah Bond, Kendrick Law, Malik Benson, Kobe Prentice, maybe even an Emmanuel Henderson or a Shaz Preston could all get real run, not just against Middle Tennessee State, but all season long. We'll list Burton, Brooks, and Bond as part of your killer bees as the starters, but I honestly think the difference between wide receiver 1, quote unquote, and like wide receiver 5 is basically non-existent. It is going to be a season-long battle. Make your catches on third down. That is going to be key in this wide receiver room. Go to the tight end grouping now. C.J. Dupree is going to remain the first option. Danny Lewis Jr., who impressed in the spring, will put him as tight end 2. Amari Niblack is producer Chris's, I think, favorite player on the team. Maybe exaggerating a little bit, but he's excited about him as a red zone threat. again, you'll see some rotation here. The skill guys are all going to rotate. I think you'll see more 2 tight end packages than what we have seen in recent years from the Crimson Tide. Not to the same level that Tommy Rees used at Notre Dame. There is no, Michael Mayer on this team at tight end, but there are some intriguing pieces, young pieces, Dupree, Lewis, Nyblack, who could make a big impact for the Crimson Tide this upcoming season. To the offensive line depth chart, which we did break down earlier in the week, by the way. Elijah Pritchett versus Caden Proctor. One of those guys will start at left tackle, and I would bet you see both against Middle Tennessee State, and then maybe some more changes to the depth chart after the opening game before Texas. Darian Dalcourt, Tyler Booker will both start. They could flip sides, though. I wouldn't be shocked if Booker's at left guard, Dalcourt's at right guard, or if there's some rotation and some flexibility there early on in the season to get the cross-training going for both. So there's 6 people for one spot. Who is your left tackle? Is it Elijah Pritchett? Type in EP. Is it Caden Proctor? Type in KP. Get those predictions in for us in the comment section right now. The inside linebacker, we'll come back to defensive line later. That one's not as, I don't think debatable from that perspective. Deontay Lawson and Jihad Campbell are going to be your starters on the interior at Mike and at Will. Top backups are going to be Trez Marshall. You maybe see some Sean Murphy and JUCO, highly touted JUCO, Justin Jefferson. Your edge rushers there with what the Crimson Tide call the Sam and Jack position. It's 3-4 outside linebacker pass rusher. That's kind of all it is. Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell. I think Quandarius Robinson is your first edge off the bench for now, but there are some intriguing young guys. Keanu Koch, Quay Russell, Keon Keeley, Yanze Pierre. I would not be shocked if one of those freshman or sophomore emerge as key pieces for pass rushers for the Crimson Tide's defense this season. Now, you can bet on the Alabama Crimson Tide all season long at chatsports.com/TideBet. When you use promo code TIDE125, they will give you a 125% deposit bonus. Must put down at least $100, by the way. They do have odds on this opening week 1 matchup. Alabama, a 39-point favorite. Middle Tennessee is the matchup, of course. The over-under is 51, so you're talking like a 46-6 win for Alabama is the expectation here. I'm actually kind of surprised the spread is available. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do all my can't-lose parlay. Love to do it. All your heavy favorites, Alabama among them. You put down like $10 for your deposit bonus. You'll only win like $1 if you pick like 5 games. Doesn't matter. You cannot get that level of return on your investment at any bank in America. Can't do it. Can do it by betting on college football, though. Go do it with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Chatsports.com/TideBet. Promo code TIDE125. To the secondary now. Your starting corner is obviously Kool-Aid McKinstry is CB1. Terrion Arnold and Trey Amos, I wouldn't be shocked if they both play, but I think Arnold has the slight edge right now. Safety number 1 is true freshman. It's clearly Caleb Downs. Kind of crazy to think about there. Might have been Devonta Smith at the other spot had he not been injured currently. Malachi Moore, I think, will play some star and some safety. Probably true with Jalen Key as well. I think you'll see some Christian Story in the mix from that perspective, just in terms of who's out there. Probably see some Earl Little, maybe some Desmond Ricks in some capacity as a true freshman, at least against lesser opponents like Middle Tennessee. I think if you're counting on guys who are going to play, Smith once healthy, the starting 5, Amos, Story, and then maybe an Earl Mitchell or Earl Little or maybe a Tony Mitchell. But they go at least 7 to 8 deep in the secondary, so just stay healthy. What is your confidence level in the defensive backs? I do think the 2 transfers really helped your confidence here in terms of depth, but I want to hear from you guys. Scale it from 1 to 10 in the comment section. The defensive line depth chart here for the Crimson Tide. Nothing too crazy or unexpected here. Justin, Jaheim, and Tim. We can maybe get to a point where Tim Smith loses his job to James Smith. Not because I want that, but then it's the triple J's up front, which is fun, and I'm an immature person who likes to make jokes like that. Tim Keenan, I think, will play a nice role for you. It's a quality group up front for the Crimson Tide, even if there's maybe not that obvious this upcoming year first-round pick that they've had in previous seasons. All right, the special teamers. Will Richard is back as the kicker. Hopefully, James Burnham gets little to no run as a punter, and hopefully after today's video, we never ever mention the name Nealon Hibbett ever again, because the only time we ever talk about long snappers is when they screwed up. So hopefully we don't ever have to do that. Before we go, we want you guys to predict the score of Alabama against Middle Tennessee State. Get those score predictions in the comments section right now.